Very good afternoon. You're watching the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Ashwarya Kapoor with you. The biggest developing news stories at the top of one coming up ahead. Let us start with the headlines. Pathan Court Special Court finds 6 accused, including 2 cops, guilty in the brutal QATWA rape and murder case. 7th person acquitted. Quantum of punishment at 2 p.m. today. BJP observing Black Day in West Bengal today as post-poll violence turns deadly in the state. Centre expresses deep concern after 3 BJP and 1 Trinamool party workers killed in the violence. In an advisory, Centre asks state to maintain law and order. Terrorism a joint threat, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calls for collective and focused action to combat terrorism during his day-long visit to Sri Lanka. Pays tribute to the victims of Easter Sunday attacks in Colombo. In cricket, India continue its winning momentum at the ICC World Cup, beat defending champions Australia by 36 runs. Men in blue deliver outstanding all-round performance. Man of the match Shikhar Dhawan smashes 117 off 109 balls. And an end of an era in Indian theatre and films as veteran writer and actor Girish Karnad passes away. Film fraternity, political leaders mourn the loss of the visionary artist. The biggest story this afternoon, a special court in Pathan Court has convicted 6 people accused in the brutal rape and murder of an 8-year-old girl in QATWA in Jammu and Kashmir. The court found that the village head Sanji Ram, Parvesh Kumar, Tilak Raj and 2 special police officers, Deepak Khajuria and Surender Verma, guilty in the case. The 7th accused, who is the son of the mastermind, Sanji Ram, was acquitted. The quantum of punishment will be pronounced at 2 p.m. today. Remember, the 8-year-old girl was kidnapped in January last year and was raped in captivity in a small village temple in QATWA district after having been kept sedated for 4 days. She was later bludgeoned to death. The in-camera trial in the case that shook the nation ended on 3rd of June in Pathan Court after the Supreme Court ordered that the case be shifted out of Jammu and Kashmir. Elaborate security arrangements have been made in and around the court and in QATWA in view of the pronouncement of the judgment today. Let's get more updates. Our colleague Ravindra Singh Shuran is joining us on the phone line. Ravindra, 6 men held guilty in the gang rape, torture and killing of this 8-year-old girl in QATWA in January last year. And we understand that the quantum of punishment will be done at 2 p.m. today. Now, what are the various sections under which these men have been convicted and what is the minimum sentence that they face and what have been the political reactions?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ashwarya. You're right that the Pathan Court, the Punjab's Pathan Court, District Court, they have acquitted 6 out of the 7 accused in this case. Almost 1 year after the criminal trial took place in the infamous QATWA rape and murder case. Let me tell you, the 3 of the accused, they have, including Sanji Ram, the main accused, the prime accused of this case, Deepak Khajuria and Pravesh, they have been held guilty under the section 302, that is the murder, 276B, gang rape, and 120B of the criminal conspiracy of the Ranbir Penal Code. Remember, Ranbir Penal Code is the criminal code which is applicable in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, as Indian Penal Code has no jurisdiction in that very state. Okay. So they have been tried and held guilty under the Ranbir Penal Code, which is the local criminal law of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. 3 other accused have also been held guilty, and one accused, Sanji Ram's son, he has been Vishal. He has been acquitted as there was no corroboratory evidence is found against him about his involvement in this case. And
All
this is all what we have the information. And later in the day, the court will pronounce the details about the imprisonment or the fine against all these who have been guilty today.
All right. Thank you so much, Ravindra. So 6 men held guilty in the gang rape and torture and killing of this 8-year-old girl in QATWA in January last year. And the quantum of punishment will be delivered at 2 p.m. today. This is one big story that we'll keep tracking through the day today. Now, big story coming in from West Bengal, where the BJP is observing a 12-hour Bandh in the state's Bashirhat district. And the party is also observing a black day in the entire state against the killing of 3 of its party workers on Saturday in post-poll clashes in North 24 Parganas district. Now, remember, 3 BJP workers and 1 Trinamool Congress members were killed in violence in North 24 Parganas district on Saturday. This clash is the first major incident of violence after the bitterly contested Lok Sabha election in the state. Now, the BJP has also decided to move court against the role of police in the latest incident of violence.
TMC goons attacked upon the BJP workers, and our 4 BJP workers were shot dead from the close range. The reign of terror has been unleashed by the TMC goons as because their leader and chief minister indulging the reign of terror. Just we have sent a message to my All India President Amit Shah as well as the Home Minister. I made a message to Kailash Vijayvargiya ji, and we have talked to our state leaders.
Meanwhile, the centre on Sunday expressed deep concern over continuing violence in West Bengal, saying that the unabated violence even after the Lok Sabha polls appears to be a failure on part of the state government. In an advisory to the Mamata Banerjee government, the Ministry of Home Affairs also asked it to maintain law and order, peace and public tranquility. The West Bengal government, however, responded to the advisory, saying that the situation in the state was under control, barring a few stray post-poll clashes. Our colleague Panchanan Mishra is now joining us on the phone line for more on this story. Panchanan, now West Bengal government has said that the situation is under control. It has replied to the centre's advisory over violence. You were telling us in the morning that West Bengal governor is scheduled to meet PM Modi today. What are the updates on that story?
Yes, Ashwarya, the tussle is between state government, West Bengal and centre is going on. And in this process, it's a courtesy meeting is being called that Governor of West Bengal, Tirupati, is meeting to Home Minister Amit Shah. He is right now inside MHA. And we are present at MHA. And in the morning, Governor met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's being called that it's a courtesy meeting after the government formation. But as the situation we are seeing in West Bengal, there is a large scale of violence, and recently 2 days ago 4 people died due to this violence, and in which 3 belongs to BJP and 1 of TMC. This is a violence which was continuous in entire polling process, and also the post-poll violence is also there. So that in the process, centre has given a strong advisory to state government, and state government denied any charges that all is well in the state. Now it has to be seen that what further steps centre may take, or what comes out after this meeting of Governor of West Bengal and Ministry of Home Affairs.
All right. Thank you so much for all those updates, Panchanan. So, West Bengal Governor KN Tirupati met PM Narendra Modi. Of course, it was a pre-scheduled meeting, but the issue of post-poll violence in the state of West Bengal also likely came up for discussion. He's right now meeting the Home Ministry. We have to wait and watch what exactly comes out of that meeting. Let's get to some other news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded his 2-day visit to the Maldives and Sri Lanka on Sunday. And during his talks with the island nation's top leadership in the government and in the opposition, PM Modi called terrorism a joint threat in the entire South Asian region. And said that it needs collective and focused action. The Prime Minister held a bilateral meeting with Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena, where both leaders held discussion on maritime security in the Indian Ocean region and cooperation in economic development. The PM also had an extensive meeting with the leader of the opposition in the country, Mahinda Rajapaksa, and discussed the need for close collaboration between the two countries in the fields of counter-terrorism, security and economic development. An earlier landing on Sunday afternoon in Colombo, PM Modi's first stop was St. Anthony's Church, which was one of the targets of Easter Sunday attacks, and he offered his condolences to the victims. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said that he is confident that Sri Lanka will rise again and cowardly acts of terror cannot defeat the spirit of the island nation. He also said that India stands in solidarity with the people of Sri Lanka. And earlier, the Prime Minister was accorded a ceremonial reception at the President's house. In a tweet, the Sri Lankan President termed PM Modi's visit as brief but highly productive. Ranil Wickremesinghe also said that he looks forward to holding discussions, including on increasing multilateral investment projects and collaboration in counter-terror actions. And later in the day, PM Modi interacted with the Indian diaspora at India House in Colombo, and he urged the community to help strengthen bilateral ties.
भारत के लोकतंत्र का जितना जयगान हम कर सकते हैं, दुनिया के लोगों को आश्चर्य होता है। इतना बड़ा चुनाव, 900 मिलियन मतदाता, और अगर चाइना को छोड़ दें तो दुनिया के किसी भी देश की पॉपुलेशन से ज्यादा लोगों ने इस बार वोट डाला है। और ये इतना बड़ा निर्णय होता है तो अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। आजादी के बाद सबसे ज्यादा मतदान इस चुनाव में हुआ, आजादी के बाद लोकसभा में, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। और वो भी मई महीने में 40-45 डिग्री टेम्परेचर, घर से बाहर निकलो तो चमड़ी जल जाए, उसके बाद भी मतदान हुआ। आजादी के बाद अब तक महिलाओं का सबसे ज्यादा मतदान इस बार हुआ। आजादी के बाद पहली बार इतनी बड़ी तादाद में महिला एमपी चुन करके आए, यानी एक प्रकार से भारत ने दुनिया के लिए एक सशक्त संदेश दिया है कि भारत का लोकतंत्र कितना परिपक्व है, भारत का लोकतंत्र कितना सामर्थ्यवान है और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों के लिए भारत कितना समर्पित है।
भारत संस्कारों से, लोकतंत्र से जुड़ा हुआ है। सदियों से हमारे पूर्वजों ने जो परंपरा बनाई है उसमें लोकतंत्र का एसेंस है, और उसी के कारण आज हमारा लोकतंत्र सामर्थ्यवान बन करके नित्य नई ताकत पाते हुए आगे बढ़ रहा है। और मैंने तो चुनाव जीतने के बाद भी कहा है कि भले मतदान के समय अधिक मत, कम वोट, ज्यादा वोट वाला जीतता है वगैरह होता है, लेकिन वो सब काउंटिंग तक ही होता है। काउंटिंग होने के बाद कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी, अटक से कटक, हिंदुस्तान एक होता है। 130 करोड़ देशवासियों का कल्याण यही सरकार का लक्ष्य होता है, यही सरकार की जिम्मेवारी होती है। और मैंने उसको दोहराया है, आज फिर से दोहरा रहा हूं, हमें देश को आगे ले जाना है, 5 साल में और गति बढ़ानी है और नए क्षेत्र बढ़ाने हैं। हर हिंदुस्तानी का सपना पूरा करने के लिए प्रयास करना है, उसमें कोई कमी न रहे, और आप जैसे लोगों का आशीर्वाद बना रहे। भारत की विकास यात्रा में आप भी भागीदार बने, आपको भी मेरा निमंत्रण है।
And after wrapping up his Sri Lanka visit, the Prime Minister offered prayers at Tirupati, where he was accompanied by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy. He was given a traditional welcome by the priests. He also addressed the BJP workers in the temple town and asserted that the BJP would meet the expectations of 130 crore Indians in the next 5 years and win their hearts by taking up massive welfare programs. He also congratulated Jagan Mohan Reddy and assured centre's full support in Andhra Pradesh's development.
हम चुनावी ढोल पिटने के बाद ही मैदान में आने वाले लोग नहीं हैं। हम जनता के सुख दुख के साथ जुड़े हुए भव्य भारत के निर्माण के लिए संकल्पबद्ध कार्यकर्ताओं की एक समर्पित व्यवस्था है और उसके हम हिस्सा हैं। हम चुनाव के बाद भी जनसामान्य के सुख के लिए, जनसामान्य के जीवन में बदलाव के लिए हमारे प्रयासों में रत्ती भर भी कमी नहीं आने देंगे। हम ऊपर से हमारे प्रयासों को और व्यापक करेंगे और आंध्र और तमिलनाडु में विशेष रूप से करके दिखाएंगे।
And early on Saturday, India and the Maldives inked 6 pacts in key areas like defense and maritime security. Agreements for cooperation in the fields of hydrography and health were also signed. The other agreements included on the establishment of passenger and cargo services by sea, cooperation in customs capacity building between the Central Board of Indirect Taxes in India and the Customs Board of India and the Maldives Customs Service. Also, an MOU on training and capacity building program for Maldivian civil servants was agreed upon, and a technical agreement on sharing white shipping information between the Indian Navy and the Maldives Defence Force was also signed. And at the ongoing G20 meeting in Japan on trade, India pitched for promoting micro, small and medium enterprises in developing countries. Now, this was emphasized by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal at the session on promotion of trade and investment at the G20 nations meet. Now, Goyal stressed on the need to support MSMEs in developing countries to spur job creation and promote trade in a sustainable manner. At the sidelines of the meet, the Commerce Minister also held bilateral meetings with his counterparts from UK, Japan, Spain, Korea and South Africa and discussed ways to increase trade and investments. And Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also addressed the two-day meeting of the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors in Japan, where India called upon the G20 countries to urgently fix the issue of taxing profits made by the digital economy with an aim to bring offshore companies with significant economic presence into the tax net. And back home, former Civil Aviation Minister and NCP leader Praful Patel appeared before the ED in connection with a money laundering probe today. Now, the probe relates to the losses suffered by Air India as part of an alleged multi-crore aviation scam. The case was registered by the Enforcement Directorate for alleged irregularities in fixing air slots for international airlines that purportedly led to the losses for Air India. However, the NCP leader, who served as the Civil Aviation Minister between 2004 and 2011, has not been mentioned as an accused in the case. BJP President Amit Shah on Sunday held deliberations with the party's core group leaders for the assembly in the assembly poll-bound states. Now, according to sources, Amit Shah held separate meetings with the leaders from Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Haryana, all of the 3 states which will go to polls later this year. The deliberations focused on the preparation for the polls, with Amit Shah taking stock of the prevailing political situation there and also discussing the BJP's strategy. Nitish Kumar-led JDU has decided not to be part of the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance or the NDA outside Bihar. The JDU will fight the upcoming assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand, Haryana and Delhi alone. Now, this was announced at the party's national executive meet in Patna on Sunday. However, Nitish Kumar made it clear that the JDU would fight the 2020 assembly elections in Bihar in alliance with the BJP.
महागठबंधन के लोगों ने भी और कुछ और लोगों ने भी वातावरण पटना से बाहर बनाया हुआ है, तो पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष का, राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी का स्पष्ट मत है और एक बार हम इसको फिर दोहराते हैं कि हम एनडीए के पार्ट हैं और एनडीए के पार्ट रहेंगे। 2020 का विधानसभा चुनाव एनडीए के बैनर के नीचे श्री नीतीश कुमार जी के नेतृत्व में लड़ा जाएगा। एक उतना ही मजबूती से हम ये कहना चाहते हैं कि केंद्र की सरकार का हिस्सा जेडीयू नहीं बनेगा।
Veteran actor, writer and playwright Girish Karnad passed away today morning in Bengaluru. 81-year-old Girish Karnad was a prominent playwright for 4 decades. He made his acting as well as screenwriting debut in a Kannada movie in 1970. In television, Karnad immortalized the role of a young protagonist, Swami's father, in the iconic TV series Malgudi Days in 1986. He also acted in several Hindi films that have received critical acclamation. Known as the progressive voice that championed the freedom of expression, Girish Karnad was a recipient of the prestigious Gyanpith Award in 1998 and was also conferred the Padma Shri in 1974 and Padma Bhushan in 1992. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1994. Girish Karnad also bagged popular awards including 4 Filmfare Awards, 3 for Best Director in Kannada Cinema and the 4th for Best Screenplay Award. President Ramnath Kovind also mourned the death of the legendary actor. In a tweet, President Ramnath Kovind said that the cultural world is poorer today after his demise. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Girish Karnad will be remembered for his versatile acting and for speaking passionately on the causes dear to him. Meanwhile, Karnataka has declared a holiday for schools, colleges and government offices in the state today and a 3-day mourning till Wednesday as a mark of respect to the multilingual actor. And now, all the sporting action from the ICC Cricket World Cup. India recorded a stunning 36-run win over defending champions Australia at the Oval in London last night. India posted and successfully defended a mammoth total of 352 for 5 wickets at the end of 50 overs, which is the highest total by any side against the Kangaroos in World Cups. And earlier, Captain Virat Kohli won the toss and elected to bat first. Batsmen Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Hardik Pandya scored for the team, while bowlers Jasprit Bumrah and Bhuvneshwar Kumar took 3 wickets apiece. India dismissed Australia for 316 runs to record their second consecutive victory after an opening win over South Africa. Man of the match Shikhar Dhawan scored 117 runs off 109 balls. And with the 2 straight wins, the men in blue are now placed at 3rd in the 10-team table. And India will next play New Zealand on Thursday. And in today's match, South Africa will take on the West Indies at Southampton. News from the world of tennis. Well, number 2 Rafael Nadal has lifted the French Open men's singles title for the 12th time. In the summit clash that played at Paris last night, the Spaniard defeated Austrian 4th seed Dominic Thiem 6-3, 5-7, 6-1, 6-1 to win at the Roland Garros for the 3rd straight year. The King of Clay has never lost a French Open final and he has now 18 major titles in his kitty. The 33-year-old is just now 2 titles behind Roger Federer's all-time record of 20 majors and is 3 ahead of world number 1 Novak Djokovic. And that's it in this edition of Midday News. But before we go, here is a quick look at today's yoga video that has been tweeted by the Prime Minister. In the 3D animation video, PM Modi is seen as practicing the Uttarasana, which is an asana that helps in strengthening the back, the shoulders, and also improves flexibility. This is the 7th yoga video that has been tweeted by the Prime Minister ahead of International Yoga Day on 21st of June. So take a look at these visuals as I take your leave. Thanks so much for watching.
उष्ट्रासन। उष्ट्र एक संस्कृत शब्द है जिसका हिंदी में अर्थ होता है ऊंट। इस आसन में आपके शरीर की स्थिति ऊंट के पीठ के उठे हुए हिस्से की तरह हो जाती है। इस आसन को करने के लिए सबसे पहले आप वज्रासन में बैठ जाएं। हाथों को घुटनों पर रखते हुए शरीर को सर से पांव तक सीधा रखें। अब हम धीरे धीरे वज्रासन से अर्ध उष्ट्रासन की ओर बढ़ेंगे। इसके लिए सबसे पहले आप आहिस्ता से घुटनों के बल खड़े हो जाएं। अब अपने दोनों हाथों को कमर पर इस प्रकार रखें कि आपकी उंगलियां जमीन की ओर हों। ध्यान रखें कि आपकी कोहनी एवं कंधे समानांतर हों और आपकी जांघें जमीन से बराबर 90 डिग्री पर हों। अब धीरे धीरे सांस अंदर लेते हुए अपनी रीढ़ के निचले हिस्से की ओर से पीछे की ओर झुकें। सर को इतना झुकाएं कि आपको आपकी गर्दन की मांसपेशियों पर खिंचाव महसूस हो। इस आसन को अर्ध उष्ट्रासन कहते हैं। अब हम अर्ध उष्ट्रासन से उष्ट्रासन की ओर बढ़ेंगे, जिसके लिए धीरे धीरे सांस बाहर छोड़ते हुए दाहिने हाथ से दाहिनी एड़ी और बाएं हाथ से बाईं एड़ी को पकड़ें।